everyone, and welcome to Eastenders Weekly, your one and only weekly podcast all about Eastenders. We are discussing episodes from the 2nd to the 7th of
Get it
July.
out, put your teeth in.
I know.
It's been an exciting... This has been a top week for EastEnders
It
this
has.
week.
Even before Friday, I was thinking this is going well. It's all good.
Yeah, the story's been moving on. I even quite liked the Max and Rainie story, to be honest.
And minimal Carters.
Which we enjoyed the Carters that we had, but
Yes.
I think that
it's nice to have a
it's nice to
break.
have a rest, not just from the Carters. I think it's just nice to have a break from that story. I think it was so full on and so intense. It was nice just to take a step back and have a bit of a breather from
I mean, it would have been completely no Carters this week if they didn't make that scene, like, for the football.
Well, you know what, Ben? It's coming home.
Apparently.
It's coming home. Football.
We might be out of
home.
it by the time this broadcast.
Yes, that's true.
So let's not jinx it.
That's a good point.
So we're going to talk first this week about Max and Rainie's ongoing
Betrayal.
mission.
Trying to smoke screen, trying to get baby Abby.
Yes, it's all she wants. It's all
It's
anyone
another baby.
wants. Have you noticed that every time they say it's always baby Abby?
It's never just Abby.
No.
Baby Abby.
Do you think they'll ever call her just Abby? Like when she's a 15-year-old, are they still going to say, "Where's baby Abby"?
Well, no, they might still call her baby Abby because it's almost like a nickname for her, isn't it now? I mean, I guess...
Not to get confused with the real Abby.
With the real Abby, who won't be coming back
No.
or needs adoption services in the immediate future.
Yes. So we open up this week with Mel and Jack on cloud 9, looking at each other over the table at breakfast.
Ugh, they've been making noises all night.
They have.
They're in love.
The walls are very thin, and Max and Rainie heard them, and this makes Rainie feel a bit worried that their act isn't looking real.
Yeah, she's telling Max that they need to fake it a bit more. And as Max is about to go off to the car lot to do his works, she goes to kiss him, and he turns his head and walks off. And Mel spots this.
She does. She doesn't miss anything, does she?
No, not Mel.
She just left Hunter on his own.
I was about to say
last
she
week.
doesn't know. She doesn't miss anything unless it's Hunter, and then she misses everything.
Awful. So this sort of makes Rainie a bit worried. So she wants this sort of plan where obviously this marriage needs to look a bit more real. So whether that means making noises in their bedroom and faking it so Mel hears, so no one gets suspicious.
Well, Rainie does say that, doesn't she? She said, "I can fake it."
Yeah, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I slept with Jack once, remember?
Yeah. I've slept with lots of men for the brown stuff.
Yeah.
Rainie invites Mel for a candlelight supper with her, Max, obviously Mel, and Jack. A couple's evening.
Yes.
A double date.
Another thing that EastEnders seem to be quite good at is writing awkward dinners. Seems to be their thing at the moment. They're quite good at it.
I mean, this dinner that...
And they always involve Mel. Just don't invite her to your
because of
party.
the Easter dinner.
Yeah.
Sharon's cream geddon. Yes, I forgot about that.
So, I think the story is don't invite Mel to a dinner unless you want it to go south.
Horribly wrong.
So we get to the dinner. Rainie's been cooking. She doesn't even tell Max this is happening. He comes home from work and it's all ready, and she's like, okay, let's go have dinner.
But he's happy because he turns up at home and he sees that she's been cooking. He has a quick spoonful of the good stuff. He likes it.
Noticed this. He double dips the spoon.
I know,
He
it's
just
disgusting.
walked in and didn't even know who it could have been Jack's dinner or Mel's for all he knew.
Well, no,
he just
definitely.
walk in and ate some.
Or the kids' dinner.
Yeah, and then put the spoon back in the
Spreading
what was
all
it?
kinds of germs.
It was like a sauce sort of thing, wasn't it?
But weren't they having Indian? So it was a curry.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they're having
Possibly.
curry with
But I
rice.
was like, that's disgusting. Max.
It
or
was-
Jake would.
Wow. I don't think it's Jake's fault.
Was he directed to double dip, or was that just what he did?
Well,
Improv?
it could have. Maybe he had more than one. Maybe he deliberately kept spoiling it so he could keep tasting that delicious curry. It did look delicious.
No. So so Mel, Jack, Rainie, and Max all having dinner. This is now Rainie's mission.
Well,
to
think that
make
their
it
relationship is
believable.
genuine. She tells the story of when before he proposed to her, about them dancing in the club, and they saw an elder couple, and she was just telling this story of how Max proposed to her, and she starts to show her manipulation side again. She's showing that she's got the control. She seems to have the control over Max. She knows what she's able to push the right buttons in order to get Max to, play with her.
Play along, yeah. And they started dancing. Mel mentions he's got snake hips.
Yes.
Maybe we all know this is a reference to Strictly Come Dancing. Well, that's what everyone called him.
Yeah, they did call him Snake Hips.
And after all this is done and they've done their little dance in their story, Max sort of storms off to the kitchen and says, "What are you doing? You're embarrassing me."
Well, Rainie is jealous of Mel because she
looks at him.
She pays Max a compliment. But again, is Rainie playing the game? Is Rainie deliberately trying to put on this jealous housewife routine? And
no,
Max,
I think she's slowly.
Well, that's what I think. She's trying to convince
him,
and she's trying to convince Max to do the fall in love with her too. Because there's that big argument in the kitchen, as you say, where Max is going nutty about her. You're going too far. You're going too far. I don't know when it's an act. I don't know when it's fake. And I think with Rainie also, I don't think she really knows when it's an act or it's fake anymore. I think it's all just kind of culminated into one big. It's almost all real to her now that Max and her could be together. They could have baby Abby together.
Well, she's blurring the lines, as Max says.
Yes.
And she obviously mentions that her and Jack have slept together in the past once, which upsets... Well, you think it upsets Mel.
Well, Mel, first of all, seems upset, and they don't talk to each other. And then as they're just about to leave, she says another little passing comment to Jack and calls him a slut. And and then he's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And she's like, "No, I'm only joking. Anyway, who am I to call you a slut?" Ian Beale. Reminding everyone that she basically used Ian Beale for his...
At least finally, like, someone's calling a man a slut for once. It's quite a... new thing. I think normally men get away with it, don't they?
Slut shaming of any kind should be prohibited in the square.
No, they'd never get anything done.
So
this all leads to Rainie kissing Max.
Yes.
Although Max did kiss her back.
Well, he resisted.
I was like,
he pulled away first.
He just can't help himself, can he?
He can't. He really is one of the men. His brain is in his pants.
Yeah. It's just like, for God's sake, Max.
He just likes it, doesn't he? But it didn't go any further than that.
No. Yeah, luckily. Although I did think like that was the end of the next day was the next morning, and they were both a bit like quiet, and I was like, oh, have they? But no, just a kiss. Just a kiss.
She came down the stairs looking a bit like regretful for it, and Max had already. But it was only a kiss, though. I mean,
kiss is nothing. Just tell the Slaters.
I mean, Mel asks later on the market while Rainie's doing a bit of shopping for baby Abby to convince the council
good mum
worker that they're going to be good carers. And Mel said, "Oh, how was last night?" And Rainie was like, "Oh, yeah, really good, really good."
She was like, "Yeah, good. But what do you think of this?" And she's more interested in the baby clothes and stuff, isn't she?
Yes, that's right. So Max tells her that the kiss was nothing, and Rainie's a bit like, "Yeah, that's fine," and then looks lovingly at the picture of baby Abby. So you start to get the idea that maybe it is more to Rainie than just the money.
Well, you say just get the idea. I thought we knew this right from when the baby kidnap thing was going on. I got hints of it then because she was really obsessed with... She said to the real mum about how precious having a baby is and things. So I got this impression way back then that Rainie, she's not there for the money or the marriage, she's there for the baby. And that's when I said, oh, is she going to plan to get the baby and then leave?
What, with baby Abby? I mean, she's always showing her... From then, you're quite right, she showed her maternal side and that she desperately wanted a baby. And also we learnt this week after she had a big argument with Donna, because Donna pretty much threw accusations at her saying that she's a junkie and that
I really enjoyed Donna this week.
Donna was really... it was nice to give Donna some teeth rather than just making fun of Robbie.
It's one of those things where someone's leaving, so they... finally give them a decent storyline. It always happens.
The Shakil effect.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you just give her a storyline in the first place? Because she's a really good actress.
A few people on Twitter were surprised that she didn't need her wheelchair as well, which gobsmacked me.
I know. A few people always bring that up. It's really weird.
It's like, well, have you not watched EastEnders? She's walked on a few occasions without the wheelchair. It's just an aid for her.
Because people used to tweet in and complain that she got into Vincent's house really easily. And it's like... There's a little bit of... You don't need to show someone getting their wheelchair up going up a pair of stairs. It's like...
It's a soap for crying out loud. You need to be quick. You need quick, sharp scenes. You haven't got time to fill in the gap with Donna walking up a pair of stairs.
So the reason Donna's not happy about Rainie, sort of... She's quite vocal about her not wanting her to have baby Abby is because obviously Donna was adopted from care.
Yeah, I also wondered if it was not just that Donna was adopted from care, but also that Donna wanted a baby herself at one point and wasn't never given the opportunity to.
No.
And feels a bit like the opportunity.
Why should they get one?
Has been given to Rainie, so why should she have that?
She's very vocal, as we know. She doesn't mince her words.
She doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't.
Could be
hold
her
back.
undoing, though. We feel.
Well, we have to wait and see with that one. But she did upset Rainie really hard. It was revealed then at that point that Rainie couldn't have children of her own, and that this is her last opportunity.
Yeah, because Donna says, "Oh, if you're that desperate, just go have one of your own." And Rainie sort of turns away and looks a bit upset and walks off. And then obviously later in the episode, she tells Max that that's the reason why when he's chucking her out.
I mean, she was humiliated after that, and so Rainie's now made it, as you said, her mission to destroy Donna.
She does this, doesn't she? She homes in on people she doesn't like.
She's a creature.
Like poor Ingrid.
Yes, exactly. That was a short, sharp one, though, wasn't it? It was like, go away.
I wonder what she said. We never found out what she said to Ingrid.
But I mean, Rainie, obviously, she's a drug addict, drinking problems. So with Rainie, I think she always needs something to occupy her mind.
Yeah.
So this new addiction is
her revenge.
Is not only baby Abby, but her revenge on Donna. So how does she get that revenge?
So, she obviously, we see on CCTV and that she goes into the Minute Mart and puts some cigarettes on Donna's, in like a box of clothes.
A box of stock.
And then phones, is it Mr. Papadopoulos?
No.
Or is it his son? I can't remember now.
That's the guy who owns
that's the laundrette, isn't it? Yeah.
Mr. Lister. Mr. Lister, he's the market inspector.
Yeah.
Just a quick note, anyone who's of a certain vintage, like myself, would remember that voice from Double Dare.
Oh.
He used to be the voiceover guy who used to do the Double Dare, used to announce the prizes. Just so
It's gone from strength to strength. He's now Mr. Lister. So, obviously, Rainie anonymously tips off this to Mr. Lister that Donna's selling cigarettes.
Yes, and she watches from afar with a bit of a Grinch smile
I know.
as it's all playing out in front of her. And she deliberately tries to get people to watch too, doesn't she? She goes into the Minute Mart and says, hey guys, look what's happening out here. And gets some of the market traders. Donna implores with Mr. Lister that she would never sell cigarettes. She's not like that.
No.
Shrimpy nods in agreement to say, yes, that's true.
He's got her back.
He's got her back.
Oh, Shrimpy.
I mean, Donna and Shrimpy are like a force to be reckoned with, aren't they? They are a powerhouse of that market. Martin also says, nope, never spotted anything like that before. But, it's unfortunate.
I mean,
that
she
the
quickly
evidence
works
is
it
there.
out, doesn't she, that it's most likely Rainie who did this.
Well, she goes and accuses Rainie. A few people prior to this have said, I think you're maybe off the mark. You can't really prove that. But Donna quite rightly says, I had it out with her in the market earlier. It's definitely Rainie. So when she does go and has it out with Rainie at Max or Jack's house, Max defends Rainie.
In front of, yeah. He's like, oh no, she was with me the whole afternoon.
I didn't know it was a crime to
even though
feel
Rainie admits
upset.
it in front of it. She pretty much says, I did it because of what you said to me.
Well, when Donna left, Max then, when Rainie admits it and says that was brilliant, thinking that, oh, hang on, I've got an ally on my side, Max then gets really angry and starts threatening her by saying, I'm not going to give you a penny if you carry on like this. And this is
a changed man, isn't he?
No, he's trying to portray himself as a changed man. And Rainie, devastated, starts chasing Max out the door and screaming, I'm not doing it for the money. I just want the baby.
Yeah.
So finally her admission of what this is all about comes out. But I don't think Max heard her say it.
No.
Even though it was just...
She sort of did it against the door, didn't she?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't... You would... If
Max
I shouted...
didn't care, he stormed off.
Well, Max was off, yeah.
He's way off.
Getting some food from the cafe. They haven't eaten for a while. Well, having said that, they had a curry.
Yeah. They're always eating. And they have toast and jam on the next day.
There was lots of... The toast usage this week on EastEnders was strong. I mean,
Toastenders are going to be busy on Instagram.
They are.
Very good page if you want to follow them.
Oh, yeah, do follow them.
Toastenders.
They're a fantastic
Every time
page.
someone eats toast, they're on there.
So they've had a busy week this week.
Yeah.
I think it's on Twitter as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the next morning, Robbie notices Donna hasn't opened her stool, which is very unlike anyone. Every time someone's unhappy on the stool, you know it if they haven't opened up.
Yeah. They just can't be bothered. They've had enough. And he's worried she's going to lose her pitch, so in order to get her attention, he tries to climb through her window.
Yes. I don't know if I don't know, but Jay turns up and says, you could just come through the door, Robbie.
Yeah.
So lets him in, they have a little chat, and she sort of tells Robbie, I think it was your Aunt Rainie who did this.
She also admits that she works very hard. She works 6-7 days a week. She's always working. She's feeling tired. She's having an off day. And when she kind of goes off to sulk, I guess, Robbie sees that there's the letter from the mark very quickly sent to her.
I know, overnight.
I mean, if you want anything else done by the council, you'll be waiting weeks on end. Getting a fine from Mr. Lister.
Well, I don't know, because the council turned up after 2 hours when Masood reported the food at Fish and Chips. So they're obviously
they're hot.
it.
Wolford Council. They've obviously not had their funds cut. So meanwhile, while this is all happening, Rainie is upset with Max, obviously, because he's been ignoring her, and he's basically saying that he's acting like a child, and if you want a child, you need to stop acting like one, and buck up your ideas a little bit. But he's sulking too, because he feels like that Rainie's constantly getting in the way of him getting baby Abby.
Yeah. Robbie pops over to talk to Uncle Max and Auntie Rainie, and Max sort of gives up his money straight away because he obviously knows that Rainie's being a bit naughty.
Yes.
But no, she takes that off him. Rainie says, no, we're not helping her. That's slander.
She basically says if Donna wants a fight, she can have one. And this obviously riles not only Robbie up, but it upsets Max.
Riles Robbie up. Have I seen Robbie riled up? I'm not sure.
He gets a bit more gruntier, I guess. Yeah. I mean, he's such a poor old Robbie. He's so softly spoken. Like all the cast of EastEnders are really like they shouty or they're a bit gravelly. But Robbie is such a soft. He's actually a really sweet character. I mean, he's the yin to Donna's yang, which is another reason why it's such a shame that we know.
Yeah, she's leaving. But she has said that she decided. But you never know if that's true when actors say that. So this sort of upsets Max even more. So this is when he says, right, I want you out.
Yeah, because he doesn't believe her. Because she's, again, imploring with him. I just want to have a baby. I want to look. The only opportunity I will have is with my great niece. And Max says, are you lying again or are you telling the truth? I just can't tell anymore, Rainie. And so, chucks her out.
And that's when she has that, when she says, oh, I can't have children, blah, blah, blah. But nope, she still leaves. She packs up and she goes.
She's gone. Robbie offers Donna his savings from his jar under the guise that he's just won a lotto scratch card win.
It's like £80 or something.
And Donna sees that he's obviously doing it at the kindness of his heart, forgives him for kind of prying into her mail.
This is when Donna also sort of slightly mentions her long work hours. And she also mentions how she's on like painkillers.
Well, that was earlier when she first talked.
I thought it was the second chat when she says the painkillers aren't working anymore and she's in pain and things.
No, it was the first chat.
Was that the
first
first
said
chat?
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, they would. It's interesting to delve into her illness. Again, that's something that they've
not really mentioned.
Again, they did mention it when she was trying to have a baby, because a lot of people said you wouldn't be able to do it because of the illness, and that was kind of then investigated from there. But no, and I found that interesting too. That obviously she said she was rattling from the pills, which I love that.
So I'm not sure what her leaving storyline might be. Obviously, on the summer trailer, we see Rainie in an alleyway looking like she's buying drugs. And then we see drugs being posted through Donna's door. That's the only thing. So I don't know if she's been set up by Rainie.
Oh, well,
or
yes,
if she's
because she mentioned about
taking drugs.
Well, I mean,
if they're not working, her painkillers aren't working.
Yeah. Maybe Rainie kind of gets her into drugs because, like you say, the painkillers. Maybe that's why it was mentioned for that matter. That's interesting.
I don't know how they're gonna. Hopefully, they leave it open for Donna. I can't imagine they're going to kill her off.
Well, she's got her mum, hasn't she? She's got her
Claudette,
mum. Claudette she can go away with.
But then they have to break up her and Robbie.
I mean, other than this week, there was not much of a relationship going on there anyway, was there?
I guess, but still. But yeah.
No. I don't think that... I hope they don't kill her. That'd be Vincent and then his sister.
Oh, yeah.
Not biological, but,
Claudette.
They will be gone. The Hubbards will all be disappeared.
Oh, she's a Yates.
Oh, she kept her family name, did she?
But I'm not sure what they're doing with her leaving storyline. Whether Rainie's just going to get her revenge and get rid of her, or make her leave without saying anything. I mean, know.
We know that Donna is definitely out.
It's this summer. This is the beginning of her leaving storyline. Sadly,
but we know that she's out to get Rainie. So it's obviously going to be Rainie
versus Donna.
I mean, Rainie won't do it. We've learnt now that Rainie will do nothing to get in the way of her wanting a child. And again, that will be interesting to see how that does. This is what I mean. Because of the development from Rainie, it's now put the whole story on its head, and it's actually becoming a little more interesting now, rather than it just being about Max. And Rainie's a bit of a part character.
Yeah,
Rainie's now become
taking the lead, isn't she?
Yeah.
So, shall we move on? Talk about slightly light-hearted Slaters.
Hey,
Hayley. She's centre again in the Slater storyline.
Hayley never left the centre stage.
No, that's true. So all of the people in Stacey's house are now sort of arguing over who's going to pay the council tax.
Yes, they've just had a bill through. It's final demand. So they've had a few months to pay it. They've chosen to ignore it.
Yes.
And Jean comes up with a idea that when everyone's got a little bit of spare cash, they can put it in this kitty. I said it on Twitter. I think they missed a trick there. They should have called it the catty. They should have called it a Slater catty. But anyway, so yeah, and they can all put the money into this kitty, and when they have it. But Hayley is adamant that she hasn't got any money. But we know that's not true because at the beginning of the episode, she rubs her tummy.
Yeah, she had a kick.
Remind us, she's got a baby. We reminded a few times this week that she's got a baby. And she's got a roll of 20s. And we don't know what she's using it for, but we know that it's something important. Because later in the episode, she says to Jean, who discovers the money, that she needs that. She desperately needs that.
Keeping it to herself because she's obviously trying to save up a bit of cash for her secret baby.
So do you think, she thinks saving it up to buy baby things?
Yeah, that's why she just wants a little bit of a nest egg, doesn't she?
I mean, when is she going to reveal this? Because there's only going to be so long before, because she's not...
She's going to put it off as long as she can.
I mean, how's she going to disguise her bum? Is she going to start wearing big Pat Butcher style coats and just covering it up over her front?
She wears quite tight-fitting stuff still, doesn't
she? Really does, yeah.
But, we'll have to see.
I mean, that's going to be a hell of a fallout in the Slater household when that gets brought up.
So, we also have a little mention. Stacey says to her, have you sold the cab? Because it's not outside. And she says, no, I've just parked it around the corner, free parking. We then later see Patrick giving Hayley some money.
Yes, because she's just had a phone call. And she says, I don't normally work daytime. And Jean hears this and is a bit suspicious. And then when she follows Jean and she sees that Patrick's giving her some money. So Jean jumps to the conclusion that Patrick has paid Hayley for sex.
Yes.
Like
she's a prosy.
She's a prosy. And proud.
But Hayley does sort of say to her, no, it's not what you think. It's I'm doing taxi fares.
Yes.
On the side.
Which isn't much better, to be honest with you.
But it's better than being a prosy. That's what Hayley says.
Well, it's the oldest job in the world, prostitution.
And surely being a taxi is quite an old job too.
Cars have only been around for, 100 years?
You can transport with horses. So then that's when they sort of get to talking, and doesn't Jean spend some of the money, like £20 on shopping, doesn't she, of the money she's found?
Of the money she found.
She thinks it's for all the Slaters, not just for her.
Yes, well, she knows it's Hayley's money.
Yeah.
So I think she's a bit upset that Hayley hadn't admitted that. Shared it with her. Did you notice also the scene when Patrick and Hayley are talking, that Patrick walks into number 1? Kim and Vincent's old house.
Oh, did he? Is he secretly renting that as well?
Well, I know. I just thought it was a bit odd, that was all. I didn't know, because there was no explanation for why he was going in there. Obviously, there could be reasons. Perhaps maybe they've rented it out and they've...
Maybe he's turning the water off.
Maybe he's giving food to Vincent. It's a bit like Stranger Things. He's leaving Eggos in the letterbox for Vincent.
To get Vincent back.
Yeah.
Or maybe Claudette's hiding in the basement.
That'd be good. I like that. I'd really like that as a good storyline. Jean is upset because she thinks that Hayley might be in trouble because of the money. And it was a really lovely scene that between them two, because they kind of talked over each other, and it just seemed like a natural dialogue when Jean was trying to find out why she didn't share the money with her, and they kind of talked over each other. They performed scene, and it was really good.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them this week. There was one with Max and Rainie when they were arguing, and they were just arguing over each other, and it's quite nice.
But it doesn't feel so staged. Like there's been recently very
like just waiting for someone to finish their line, then they talk. Yeah. Mainly Jack.
I was about to say
when he clenches his fist.
Yeah, when he knows he's waiting for his line. Yeah, he kind of counts it in his fist. But Jean puts the money in the jar and announces that we're all family.
Yes, this is now dinner. Everyone's there for dinner.
Yes. and they're gonna trust each other from now on.
Even Mo.
Even Mo. I mean, do you think Jean is like the glue that keeps the Slaters together?
Seems to be, doesn't she? She's like the sensible one somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how that's happened, because Jean used to be the one who always needed the care and the help and the attention, and now she's the one who's giving it to everyone else.
Well, it's nice. It's shows she's had a bit of character growth. She's not just stayed the same.
But everyone seems so unthankful to her for doing it, because she's done so much for them. Like,
well, you only miss it when it's gone.
But her
well, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like you just take it for. They're obviously taking Jean for granted, aren't they?
Which is a shame though, because Jean helped them build Clean Slater, because she did such a good job at the pub, did such a good job at E20. Their 2 contracts, although we're led to believe they've got much more now.
They're very busy,
booming business.
So the next morning we have sort of this mini storyline of Hayley wanting to do more taxi stuff. Jean takes the keys from her, so she can't do it.
Well, because she notices that Hayley's eyeing up the key hook. Which is funny. It's a bit like a cowboy film. You know the scene last week when you saw Masood and Ian chopping off the vegetables and close there? It was a bit like that. Like you were focusing on their eyes, and they were both, one is looking at the hook, then looking at the other, and then looking at the other. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, it's just making me laugh, because it's made me think of it. I love it when later on when Hayley's in line at the cafe.
Oh yes,
and she looks at her breakfast and she just goes. And like licks her lips. It's really funny.
She's got grand plans for that money, isn't she?
Yeah, but that's a bit later on. But yeah, that made me laugh. So not much really happens. We see Hayley sort of walking up and looking at baby clothes on the market, the same as Rainie.
Yes.
And she sees all the Slaters go into the Vic to have a drink after they've just been cleaning, even though they have no money. Jean does mention this.
Jean does mention it, but then they said, do they get one on the tab because they work for the company? And I think Mick kind of conceded to it.
Yeah, kind
of. I
of.
guess.
Yeah.
3 of the usual. So that's what they had.
And an orange juice.
And an orange juice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hayley walks in and gives Jean back the money, because Jean gives her some money for a bus fare to the job centre. Deliberately drops the money that Jean given her. Said, I don't need the money. I walked to the job centre. Deliberately drops the money. While Jean's back is turned, she then quickly goes into Jean's bag and steals the keys back.
Yes. So she's back on the taxi.
She's back on the game. Back on the taxi.
The different game that we thought she was on. So yeah, that sort of rounds up the Slaters for this week, really. Hayley's in a bit more storylines throughout the week, but that's more Carmel centric, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, the only bit is that Jean catches her in the cab. And
she looks up and she's like stood there like a villain, like Jean's face is just on the screen. That's funny as well.
It's almost like she had her whole face pressed against the window and her nose was turned upward like a little piggy.
Yeah, she catches her out.
Yeah, she was great. I have to say, Jean this week has just been. I love Jean anyway.
You say this every week.
I do. I love Jean. I love her character, and I love that they've put a such integral part of the Slater family. Like they're not relying on Kat or Stacey. They're actually using the new Slaters in my mind, which is Hayley and Jean. So I'm loving it. I'm really liking the Slaters at the moment.
Yeah. So there's a few comments on Twitter about the Slaters. Someone said, "Is it just me that thinks Hayley in EastEnders looks like Jessie J if she was a junkie?" Great new addition to the show.
What do you mean if?
Hayley can be a mouthy cow, like most of the Slaters, but she has a heart of gold.
Hayley, who's the actress who played Hayley?
Katie Jarvis.
Katie Jarvis. I strongly recommend that you follow Katie Jarvis on Twitter. Her Twitter is outstanding. That's what I have to say on the matter.
And someone said, Hayley being pregnant with Alfie's baby just sours her pregnancy storyline for me.
That's true. I wish that she'd... I mean,
it was a good reveal when they did it. But then you think, when it comes to it, it's going to be a bit...
I mean, they're just... The Slaters are slowly... only now embracing Hayley into their family. And that's through Jean, mainly. But they are. And I really worry that there's going to be a heck of a rift. Which is, I suppose, that's the story, isn't it? That's what's going to happen. And I'm sure it will be... smoothed over in the end, but I just don't. I don't like that. That's the way Hayley's pregnant.
No,
I wish it was some kind of
Bit
mystery.
of a shame, but
yeah, Jay from the funeral parlour, his baby.
Maybe,
never know.
And also, I just noticed we didn't do any readouts for the Max and Rainie storyline.
Okay.
So this is to do with Max. Someone said there's so much sexual tension between Max and Rainie. They need to get it out of their systems.
It's true.
Don't know.
Especially Max. He's like a rabbit on heat, isn't he?
I know, he needs it once a week from someone on the square.
Yeah.
When the choice for baby Abby is a toss-up between Grandad Max and Rainie and Great-Grandma Cora, I know what my choice would be. But they haven't said what.
Well, I was going to say who.
I'm assuming Cora.
Well, it depends. What is the tweeter a fan of Jake?
I don't know. It's
It's
a mystery.
Yeah, we'll see.
Donna is making a song and dance about Max and Rainie having baby Abby, but I don't hear her offering to take the baby out of the system. This is what got me wondering. Do you think her leaving storyline could be that actually Donna gets baby Abby and leaves?
No, I don't think
that could
it will.
be something. They don't want too many babies on the show, do they?
I don't know how the adoption process works with an abandoned baby, as it were, but I would have thought family would be the first.
Even if when your family's Max,
well,
Rainie,
any of the Brannings, to be fair, or Tanya's mum, like
Cora, yeah,
Cora's an ex-alcoholic,
homeless
woman. I mean, Max is just a murdering idiot, and
Rainie's an everything.
Yeah, so there's poor old baby Abby. I don't feel her chances are good.
Give it to Lauren.
No.
And then someone said Donna was so great tonight and showed why she shouldn't have been axed. When she's good, she's really good.
Absolutely, she was hot. She was absolutely great.
She was. So that rounds up the Max and Slater storylines this week. So shall we pop off and have a bit of see what someone's up to?
Have a quick twitch of the net curtain and see what someone's up to now.
Well, I'm doing this now.
Just do this now.
Excellent. So here we go. Time for us to pry into the lives of another actor who once made a character in Wolford their own with this week's I'm Doing This Now. Now on today's show, we are looking at the stories of former member of the Old Bill and third wife of Philip Mitchell.
Ooh, catching up to Ian.
Wait, he's married
Sharon.
And
that other woman who killed herself on her wedding day. Did they actually get married?
No, I don't think they married. The one who was burning Ben with the teaspoon.
Basically Rainie.
Yeah.
I want a baby.
Kate. So we're looking at Kate Mitchell, played by Jill Halfpenny.
Oh.
So Kate Mitchell was a police constable, Kate Morton, when she was introduced to the soap on the 24th of December 2002, while undercover setting up a honey trap with the goal of getting a confession from Phil Mitchell over the murder case of Lisa Fowler.
Lisa Fowler? Murdered?
Yeah. I think she went missing, didn't she?
Oh, I was going to say, because she's not dead.
I don't think she was dead. She just went missing.
It's like a case, yeah. Was Kate another one of those, we're going to bring her in for 2 months, she's really popular, let's rewrite this a bit and make her full-time, do you think?
No, because I think she kind of hit the floor running from the very beginning. Because
no one knew what was going to happen to it. It was like a big... carry on.
No,
I
that's
just remember
okay.
it being a good storyline.
It was because she had a quite. I mean, if you mean short time, maybe 8-9 months, then perhaps. But like this, her story arc kind of went a bit further on after that. So because Kate meets Phil in hospital while he's visiting his godson Jamie, that's when he gets hit by the car by Martin, who then later marries Jamie's ex-wife. Yeah. Like you do. When Jamie dies, Kate supports Phil and they're dotted by Phil's charm, warmth, and
aren't we all?
And his charismatic nature, and falls in love with him. When her boss, Detective Jill Marsden, finds out she fires her, and when Phil discovers soon afterward, he throws a bottle and aggressively throws her out. However, Kate continues to pursue Phil and he forgives her and they marry. I mean... I
remember that reveal. It's really good. Because no one knew that she was an undercover cop to begin with. They just thought she was just going to be dating him and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
And it was like a big thing when you found out she was working for the police.
I mean, Angry Phil is always a testament to the show and the actor. He does it well. I mean, recently when he did it with Hunter, when he discovered Louise and him in the office, like his nutty Phil is just...
and when he plays drunk, he's really good at that as well.
He's really good at drunk, actually. A quick note, I was looking at pictures for Twitter and so on and so forth, and there were some really funny pictures of him when he's in the digger, when he's knocking down the car lot. So look out for those on Twitter. The wedding day, as you would expect, does not go to plan. Her alcoholic father comes uninvited and openly shows his dislike for Phil. Another unexpected guest is Lisa. So yes, she went missing and then back. Who wants access to their daughter, Louise. Baby Louise.
Baby Louise.
She grew out of that nickname. Although she's granted access, she is still not happy and asks Den Watts to frame Phil for an attempted robbery and assault. Kate is disgusted by Phil's behaviour and annuls her marriage.
Oh dear.
So there we go. That didn't last long.
Woman with morals.
Yes. Now, Kate becomes friends with Little Mo Mitchell, who, incidentally, after a little bit of research, is in real life best friends with Casey Ainsworth.
Oh.
So they're best friends in real life.
There you go.
Art imitating life. Now, at this point, Little Mo is married to Billy Mitchell and is raped by Graham Foster. Kate is the first person she sees and convinces Mo to report the crime, sparking memories of her mother's rape when she was a child. Kate takes on a partner and expands on her nail salon called Sophisticates. Now, does anyone remember Sophisticates?
I don't.
Do you not?
No.
It was like the most ridiculous thing.
How weird she went from being a strong policewoman, detective, to running, and that's what I mean when I said they sort of kept her on because she's popular, and then don't know what to do with her. She's one of those characters. That's what Jane used to be.
Yeah,
like they sort of keep them on. It's like, actually, we don't know what to do with you. We want to keep you. That's what Kate became, didn't she?
Yeah, she became a bit of a bit character, a bit of a B role. I mean, she did her year course at college, learned how to paint nails, and thought, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
Obviously. Chrissy Watts becomes an investor and reopens as a hair and beauty salon. Behind Chrissy's back, Kate starts an affair with her husband, Den Watts. Chrissy finds out and starts to smash mirrors and destroying the salon. Chrissy invites Kate to the salon and explains away the mess. I mean, how do you explain that? Oh yeah, I sneezed quite violently.
She had an affair with Den.
No.
How can
he slept with a lot of those?
I know. Zoe,
yeah.
Kate, Chrissy, all these young women. God.
He had the charm, didn't he?
Apparently.
Princess. That's what we had to say to them. All right, princess. He never got the one he loved, though, the most. I mean, we've talked about this before, but there was always that underlying kind of, if he hadn't brought her up as his daughter.
No.
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
I don't know.
Enough of that.
She convinces Kate to have her hair cut by her, this is Chrissy, and proceeds to cut her long hair and ask questions about Kate's mystery man. Unaware, Chrissy attacks Kate and tells her family, prompting Kate to leave for a few months. Kate returns with a new hairstyle and continues to work at the salon with Chrissy until the investment is paid off. Chrissy eventually forgives her, and soon Kate is offered her job back with the police in Brighton and closes up the salon for good. So is
that her leaving story?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a bit like, we don't know what to do.
Half-assed.
With you. Yeah, we don't know what to do with you. So, yeah.
I mean, for a short time on there, I mean, some of the best characters are the ones that are on for a short time, and they're the biggest impact, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Jill Halfpenny, she's been very busy. Do you want to know what she's up to now?
Yeah, theatre? No. I think she's...
Yeah, bit of theatre.
She's on a lot of TV, though.
TV that we've been watching recently. So after leaving the square and her dreams of the nail bar fortune ending, Jill appeared in The Bodies, a play adapted from Emile Zola's novel. It was performed at the Live Theatre in Newcastle. In 2008, whilst pregnant, Halfpenny played the long-suffering manager of Spike Milligan, Norma Farnes, alongside Michael Barrymore at the Theatre Royal Windsor in Surviving Spike. Was that before the scandal with Michael Barrymore or after?
No idea. I don't follow Michael Barrymore.
No, I don't think you need to follow him to know about that.
Oh, was that the one when someone's in his pool?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Jill wasn't off our television screens either, playing the head of drama Izzy Redpath in series 1 and 2 of the BBC drama Waterloo Road.
Yeah.
As well as appearing in Mount Pleasant on Sky Living and Vera and Wild at Heart on ITV. She also starred in the Channel 4 miniseries Babylon. The series pilot was directed by Danny Boyle of Trainspotting fame and the 2012 Olympics ceremony.
Yeah, Dean Wicks was in Babylon as well.
Was he?
Mm.
Do you know, I didn't spot that.
I'm sure he was.
There was that Scottish actor in it as well. The one who does a lot. I forget his name now.
Has he been in EastEnders?
He hasn't been in EastEnders.
Well, I don't care.
So quite right. The series pilot was directed by Danny Boyle and written by Sam Bain and Jesse Armstrong from the comedy Peep Show. Halfpenny continued her successful stage career, winning a Theatre Goers' Choice Award and a Laurence Olivier Award, both for Best Supporting Actress in a Musical, for her role as Paulette Bonafonte in the West End production of Legally Blonde. I do want to see that, in case you're wondering.
Have fun.
Later in 2012, she starred in the revival of 1977's Abigail's Party in London and Bath, which ran from March to September. And in 2014, had a role in Kay Miller's new drama In the Club, working alongside Catherine Parkinson, who she will later appear with in the Channel 4 drama Humans. That's the drama we've been watching recently.
Yes.
It's very good.
She wasn't in it much.
She was only in series 1 of Humans.
Although she was in it with Ronnie's...
brother.
Brother? What was he? Stepbrother? Yeah, stepbrother.
The one who was
His
hiding...
her daughter's brother, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some weird thing.
But it wasn't...
Adopted or something.
Yeah, it wasn't...
But anyway, he was in it.
He was in it.
Claudette was in it.
Yes, she was. She played the assistant, the nurse, the care home nurse.
Yeah.
Who was
lots of people
putting
from
the new...
EastEnders was in that series.
In series 2, there's a couple of from
yeah,
EastEnders.
I can't remember who now, but yeah.
But yeah.
All fun.
Oh.
They get around.
They need work. In March this year, Jill Halfpenny performed at the Old Vic Theatre alongside many other actresses to perform One Hand Tied Behind Us to mark 100 years since the right for women to vote was given in Britain. It was a one-off performance of monologues exploring the key moments in history of women's rights in the UK and the future for equality. Also this year, there was the release of British film Walk Like a Panther, a film revolving around a group of 1980s wrestlers who are forced to don the lycra one last time to save their community's local pub, the Half Nelson from Closure. It's available for download right now, and Halfpenny plays Lara Liplock Anderson, the peacock-styled wrestler who has a few moves that are below the belt for the male counterparts. Now, as always, there will be information about our feature actress on this week's I'm Doing This Now podcast show notes, where you can also find more information of our Twitter, Facebook and Instagram accounts, and also our email address to get in touch with us. And that was this week's I'm Doing This Now.
Just do this now.
Hope you enjoyed that little titbit.
Of course. I was a big fan of Kate to begin with.
Sophisticated.
So now we're going to go on to talk about the Carmel Shakil storyline, youth club.
Yes.
The very popular youth club. So Carmel is still trying to get this off the ground. She's kind of booked it, she thinks. People keep warning her that, have you booked it? Like Denise is like, are you sure you've booked this? Because it's very last minute.
Have you got the right information? Have you got CRB checked? Carmel kind of dismisses it, doesn't she? She says, oh, don't need any of that.
That's just red tape nonsense.
Yeah.
I used to do that as a job.
Yeah, I know, it's just nonsense.
The kids, the teenagers of the square don't seem to be that interested in going, but they're going for Carmel.
They're doing it, yeah. So the three girls, aren't they, really? It's Bernie, Louise, Tiff and Bex.
Four girls.
Sorry, yes, 4 girls. Which one of those do you think?
I mean, Bernie's not, she's kind of there, but in and out, isn't she?
Well,
but,
Bernie and Tiff kind of stick together, so I'd see them as one. I might call them Beef from now on.
Biff.
Yeah, Biff. Bernie and Tiff aren't
or
so
Turney.
Yeah, Turney or Biff. Let us know which one you prefer and we'll use it. At the same time, Keegan is very panicked. He's having flashbacks of the night and he's kind of getting cold sweats in the night, hiding when he sees large groups of kids walking toward him.
He sort of always thinks that sort of
they're out to get him.
Yeah.
And so on the launch day of the youth club, where Carmel turns up at the community centre and she realises she's an hour late. Because she booked it at the earlier time. She booked it an hour before the Zumba, but she's adamant that no, that never happened.
An hour's not very long anyway, is it?
What, for youth club?
I don't know. I never went. But it doesn't seem like a long time for her to set everything up and get everyone there. And then they'd have to leave.
I mean, if Carmel's aim and mission is to get the kids off the streets, then yes, an hour isn't going to basically do much for that. Especially when you've then collected all the kids into one space and then they all leave together like a zoo.
So because that's not free, the Wolford Community Centre, they go to cafes. She always welcomes everyone. She always welcomes everyone, doesn't she, a cafe?
As long as you pay for a tea and you don't sit there nursing it for longer than half an hour, she'll let anyone into that cafe.
And they have like an awkward chat with Carmel where she's trying to sort of get everyone together and talk, and they're all drinking tea, and it's
they kind of
awkward
bond over Stinky Pitts Richards, who's a teacher there. Shakil had mentioned on a few occasions, and she talks about their exams, and this is her first kind of break down from the situation because she starts talking about his future, realizes mid-sentence, hang on, there is no future, and just kind of sits there staring blankly. And then she looks up and says, oh, Keegan's not here. And Bernie, quite rightly, because Bernie had seen Keegan earlier and saw that he was a bit panicked because he kept scrambling for knives, and he looked like he needed a bit
on edge.
Yeah, and he needed a bit of Keegan time, to put it any other way. She says, well, he's not going to make it this time, but maybe next time he can come. But again, Carmel, not her fault really, but she's kind of prodding the beast a little bit, and she's trying to get Keegan to, understand it from her perspective, which doesn't really work with Keegan, because unless you kind of get down and talk to Keegan exactly thinking how he sees things, he's not going to see it from your perspective.
Yeah, because she rushes to his to go talk to him, doesn't she?
Well, again, Bernie's already warned her that he's a bit sensitive at the moment, and then so she goes storming after the youth club ends. She goes storming. This coffee morning or coffee afternoon. She goes to the house, Karen's house, and starts buzzing the buzzer, banging the door, and it's.
Puts him on edge, and he
puts him on edge.
She comes up with Bernie, doesn't she? And he has like a knife in his hand.
Well, he grabs a knife. So he grabs a knife because his anxiety is now raised to such a level from Carmel basically desperately trying to get his attention. And she walks in, and he just sees it's obviously Carmel, and just feebly just then drops the knife on the floor and breaks down and says, I'm sorry. And Carmel, again, I think she feels like the whole idea of the youth club's now reinforced in her mind even more, because she's now thinking, I'm not saving Keegan, who's one of the most important ones. Yeah. So we need to keep this plan going.
I mean, at the beginning of this episode as well, where there was a few mentions from Kush saying the body's ready, the funeral needs to start being arranged, and she's just doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to think about it. That's why she's busying herself with all this sort of
busy
slightly meaningless work.
Yeah, she's trying to avoid it, isn't she?
Avoid it completely.
Yeah, she doesn't want anything to do with it really. And although Kush is desperately trying to get her involved in it, because everyone's telling her that if you don't do this is the one last thing you can do for Shakil, you're going to regret it. And she's just not listening.
No. Trouble is because the way she thinks of it is, if this is it, this means it's actually true. So it's sort of accepting it, isn't it?
I mean, she's on a mission, isn't she? She feels as though if she can save, she's got the knife bin, so that's good. But she feels like if she can get the kids then off the street, it's another way of preventing this from happening.
So she's starting up the second youth club the next day.
Yep,
because it's so popular.
She's been out shopping as well for the second youth club. So she's bought crisps and snacks,
board games, Switch,
a Nintendo Switch, which I was pleased to see.
Lots of people will be there.
I'd be there for the Nintendo Switch.
And so she's sort of busy doing that. People are sort of saying, do you think it's a bit soon to have another one? Because Denise says that, doesn't she?
And Keegan's not forcefully said it this first time around, but Keegan's mentioned to Carmel as well that he thinks that the youth club's not going to work. But she's adamant she's going to do it.
A few sort of characters have a few scenes of Carmel. Like Martin has a little scene with her because her and Stacey don't think Arthur should go to a funeral that young. Don't want him crying, do you?
No. I mean, when on the actual funeral, they had no kids with them at all. So I don't know why Arthur was there.
No, Sonia was there. No one to babysit. Have to work that out. Who was babysitting, won't we?
Dot wasn't there.
That's true.
So Dot was babysitting. Honey has a bit of dialogue with Carmel as well, and she starts showing off about how her son's doing really well at sports, and he's only just taken it up. And again, you can see Carmel's being eaten up inside from this. She's like, well, my son would be doing well if he wasn't dead. And
there was a nice scene with Hayley and Carmel as well. They have a few scenes, don't they?
Yes. So again, Hayley's obviously getting pushed into a few more stories, which is nice. And she is at the cafe while Carmel's trying to set up the switch, the aforementioned switch. And Carmel's like, "You're young. You know how these things work." Throwing about a USB cable. Yeah. Like, I don't know what to do with it. And Hayley just walks up to it, clicks it in.
Yeah, and it's done.
That was,
And that's when they have a chat about knife crime, because Hayley's friend was stabbed quite a while ago, she says.
Hayley shared a story that she had her friend stabbed on her doorstep. And she said,
it's quite casually said, like, this is a everyday, like a normal thing to happen now.
Well, so Hayley says if one person's going to carry a knife with them, then someone else is going to then start carrying a knife with them.
You feel like you have to.
Yeah, and it's not, and she says it's not right, but it's the reality of the world, because Carmel's like, when I was younger, there was nothing like this, nothing like this would happen. I mean, Hayley's right, sadly. It's just the way the world is at the moment. But it was quite shocking for Carmel to hear that, because I think Carmel's gotten so much lip service from people at the moment, rightly so, because she's grieving and upset.
Hayley's just there telling it straight.
Hayley's keeping it real, because that's what Hayley does.
Yeah. So we have Kush in the background sort of trying to arrange the funeral, because nothing's been done, nothing's been paid for. Jay sort of speaking to him. He says, oh no, it's fine, we can get all this sorted. Carmel's still not wanting to deal with this. She sort of has an idea in her head and says, I need to talk to Hayley.
Well, this is after the youth club basically fails.
The second youth club fails.
So Bex and Louise turn up. This is when Biff don't bother turning up.
No. And then two boys sort of come in.
And then two boys walk in.
So it's looking hopeful.
Yeah, so she's like, again, Carmel goes a bit manic.
Yeah, she's like, I'll go talk to them, settle them in.
Yeah. And she's like talking about music and saying how there's weird band names. She puts down Shakil's mobile phone for a second, and then one of the boys who's just walked in, grab the phone, run away. Carmel tries to chase them, but Kathy stops her and says, just give it up. Just give it up. And Carmel at this point then has basically just had a fit, thrown everything on the floor, and just exclaims, what's the point? I want to talk to Hayley.
Yeah. And there's quite a nice scene with Kush talking to Denise about how he feels. He's quite upset with his mum that she's not being there for her kids and helping out with the funeral arrangements and stuff. Which I thought was quite nice.
He says he is disappointed with her, and that he feels let down that Carmel is leaving the funeral to him.
Yeah.
She's flaked on the most important thing to Shakil.
It's when obviously Hayley and Carmel, I'm guessing Carmel has helped her get in contact with the prison.
I'm presuming, just because
somehow, I don't know.
No, I think she doesn't get in touch with the prison. I think she Hayley has contacts that can get her in touch with the Bruno's mum. Right. And so she arranges with Bruno's mum to visit Bruno in prison.
So she gets in a taxi.
Hayley's meant to go with her, but she steals £20 from Carmel. Feels guilty for it straight away. Drops the £20. Says, "Oh, you've dropped something." Carmel then says, "Oh, it's only £20."
Finders keepers.
I must say, I wouldn't have said it's only £20. I'd be like, "Give me my £20, thank you very much."
She's quite well off, isn't she? Carmel.
I don't know how.
He's got a rich ex-husband.
Oh, do you reckon he's paying? Yeah, but she's not getting child support anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure she got a few bob because he had an affair, didn't he?
A few fingers and a few pies.
Yeah. She's quite a well-off person. Carmel. She comes across as like she always has designer clothes on, and
she's got a nice flat as well.
Her type of character comes across as that,
like a yummy mummy.
Yeah,
kind of.
She's not poor, is she?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the funeral, girl.
Well, yeah, no, that's true. But they said they're paying cash as well, didn't they? Although that was the dad who paid for it all, I think. I think Kush got in contact with Carmel's ex.
So Hayley still has this £20 now.
This is when the scene in the cafe and she licks her lips like a child standing outside a street store at this full fry up that she desperately wants.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah. So, but she at the same time as she's licking her lips for the breakfast.
Well, she's queuing, waiting
she's sort
for
of
her
listening
turn.
to Kush, and she then feels guilty again because he's paying for flowers and all sorts.
Yeah.
So she does spend £20 on flowers, doesn't she?
She buys flowers she says it's for a funeral. She doesn't say which funeral, so I'm presuming she was taking them with her.
Yeah.
To the Friday funeral. But instead of Hayley going with Carmel, Keegan jumps into the taxi and follows her there. Quite an awkward car ride to the prison, I'd imagine.
And it's quite a long scene actually outside the prison.
Yes, or Holby City, as we.
I know. Apparently, it's the same place they film outside of Holby City.
I thought Holby City was filmed in Wales, so that really surprised me when I heard that. I don't know. I can't say.
Think it's in Wales. That's random, isn't it?
They filmed Doctor Who in Wales.
Oh, and Torchwood.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Again, we're going off.
Anyway, so they're having a chat, and sort of Carmel sort of says Keegan sort of says, "Oh, you should be there. If it was the other way round, my mum would be there for me."
Yeah, and she then says, "It should be you. It should be you." Again, though, Keegan showed a very mature side. Remember a few weeks ago we said that Keegan didn't rise to the bait, and I don't know if I can't remember what the scene was now, but again, he didn't rise to the bait, and he put across, although very loudly, his argument very concisely, and he was saying very valid points to Carmel.
That's obviously because she then went to meet Bruno's mum and saw Bruno because they were going to go talk, and he was meant to apologise, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Keegan quite rightly said that, if he sobs on your shoulder, then he's going to get a lenient sentence, or he could just tell you he doesn't care less. It's a win-win situation with Bruno, and he was absolutely right. That's exactly what it was.
But she obviously has after what Keegan has said to her, it sinks in, and she decides actually.
Well, when she sees Bruno, so Bruno's walking in, she gets a glance at him, and he looks back at her. And before basically the mum has a chance to turn around and say, right, we're going in now, she's run out and she's now stood behind the wall catching her breath. Yeah. Really scared.
And she then has another it's like a 7-minute scene with Jay.
It's a really good scene.
Parlour where she's wanting to give Shakil's like headphones and bag and
basketball
items that he likes.
And the letter he got of acceptance to the music school for the summer.
And they sort of have a long chat, and she sort of ends up thinking, actually, no, I don't want any of this. Cancel everything. No one's allowed to go to the funeral and things like that.
I want the funeral just to be for me and Shaki. And then it fades away with her holding the coffin, her arm outstretched, just looking at the coffin, looking at the plaque. And it's about 20-30 seconds. And it doesn't duff. There's no duff. It just fades to black, and the credits run.
It does, yes. And then obviously that leads on to Friday's episode, which we said is a special episode.
It is a special episode, so we did something a little bit different.
We basically, the second it ended, we just recorded our first initial thoughts, just what was fresh in our mind of that whole episode.
We went scurrying up to the microphones.
So we're going to play that for you now, and then when we come back, we're just going to finish up on any things that we might have missed and things like that. So I hope you enjoy. Hello. So we thought we would come up straight away after watching Friday's episode and record this segment. So we've just seen the episode of Shakil's funeral.
Yes. What an emotional moment, to be fair. It was very sad.
It was. I mean, they've been talking about it, how this is like a first of its kind for a soap to do. So they sort of had sections broken up, going into real life and talking to the parents of people who have lost their children through knife crime.
It was quite a deconstructed episode. There was a flow to it. So there was a story from beginning to end of Kush wanting to get Carmel to come to the funeral, and the realization of Carmel that this shouldn't be about her, it should be about Shakil. And so then does go to the funeral, and then they have this really very moving part where Shakil is buried. As they're walking through the graveyard, you see the victims of
all the people
families
that they've been cutting to throughout the episode. Yeah, they're all there, sort of holding
photos, holding iPads with the photos of the sons, but predominantly sons, wasn't it? In fact, I can't remember there were any females.
No, yeah, mainly male
victims. Yes, male victims for the crime.
Yeah, I mean, what did you make of it? It was.
Well, I thought it was. I knew, or we did know that they were going to be speaking to the victims of families, intertwined throughout the story on the episode. So we knew that was happening, and that was revealed. And we were told it was a very unique episode. I really liked how they kind of put the emphasis on the stories rather than the fiction. So although it was about Shakil's funeral, the part that you were meant to feel emotional about was actually the stories that were coming from the families.
The real life bits of talking straight to you, really, through the camera. It
was filmed like a documentary almost, and so it was almost like the moments of them at the funeral was the reconstruction of how the families felt while they were burying their own child after the after the matter, and it was just from the beginning. There, I do forgive me. I can't remember their names, but the very first lady who came on, who was talking about her son, and then she was talking, and that straight away just hit me.
Yeah, I mean, straight away with the episode, you knew there was a certain tone to it straight away. It wasn't there with Kush trying to get through to Carmel, and that's when they went to their first cut to the two ladies.
Well, it was done like a group, wasn't it? So you saw there was a flyer on the table and it said Wolford, knife crime support group. And halfway through the episode, Carmel comes out of what looks like the support group. So
and sort of the same building. So,
very similar wall colours.
Yeah, you're sort of led to believe that maybe she went there for some support,
and these
before
are the people,
the funeral.
And these are the people who she spoke to for the support. Again, I have to say there was some wonderful acting by Bonnie Langford. She was fantastic. She was excellent.
Yeah, I mean the whole cast was on top form.
Well, they're all on fire for the episode. It has to be said.
I mean, they even had like a little bit of comedy put in there. Like they had a few lines with Hayley, like wearing the wrong thing.
Oh, yes.
Like a few bits of Tiffany just to sort of help lighten the episode a little bit as it went on, with Tiff wanting to talk and things.
I have to say that they again used an opportunity in the episode on Friday to develop a few characters as well, which I thought was interesting. They seem to develop the Tiff and Bernie story of them becoming closer friends, because there was a few moments when Tiff kind of showed her
down upon herself, and Bernie was there to sort of reassure
her, and also was kind of saw that when Tiff took a step back and realised that what she was thinking, she was making it about her wanting to, shall I end with a song? Shall I say a speech and then end with a song? And she was making it more about almost like an audition for about her. And Bernie, although she supported her, then when the realisation came to Tiff, Bernie was a bit, supportive and a bit nicer. I have to say, I always forget her name because I don't like her very much. Louise. She was just annoying.
Back to her nasty
self. It's like of all the days,
self-centered.
Yeah, did she have to snap? I mean, there was a moment also where the Reverend said no one wants to bury their child, and then immediately they went to a shot of Ian Beale.
Yeah, with like Kathy looking at him.
Yeah, Kathy looking at him, and Ian's
thinking,
like,
Ian's buried me.
I've buried me. I've even buried my own mother. And she's back. So yeah, but the knife crime and the families and the stories.
And some of the stories over the credits, they were still doing talking and things from the Peep families. And one of the stories, it said, my son, he was killed over a torn jacket. And that sort of brings it back to how people saying, this is, over the stolen bike from Shakil and Keegan. And it's like, it sounds pointless because it is pointless, but actually... this does actually happen over these smallest little things.
It's so needless. But Hayley says in the earlier episode that when Carmel says, when I was younger, we didn't just carry around knives. And Hayley says that, one person starts holding a knife and then another person holds a knife. And it's a bit like gun culture, I suppose, how we see gun culture in America. It's like, well, if you're going to threaten me with a gun, then the only combat I have against you is to hold a bigger gun, and it just escalates from that, and that's what seems to have happened. It's a really hard message, and it's a message that they're obviously trying to drum home. The Kinsella, Brooke Kinsella, there was one of the gentlemen who was doing the talking heads moment. He was wearing one of the support badges.
Yeah, because her mum and dad were on there speaking about
with
Ben,
his brother. Yeah, he was on there too. It's like I say, it was a unique episode, and I think it's something that.
I mean, on paper, it was a bit like, will this work? Will this come across okay? But I mean, I think once you've seen the first one or two cuts, it sort of started.
I think it flowed really well. I think
you got used to it, and when you sort of got to that bit when Carmel was possibly at this place, it sort of brought it all together. I mean,
with the scenes that they had of the funeral itself, so the acted out scenes, it worked almost better because it was only a little, so a little went a long way. So because you just saw the prayers in Masood's house, and then you saw them getting into the black cab, going to the church, stalling the ceremony, and then it just went straight into the burial. And because it was so little went a really long way in really reinforcing the storyline, but also enforcing how difficult it is for these families that are now at a loss. One of them said a really lovely thing when she said that this is something I'll take to the grave, and it shouldn't be something I take with me to the grave. And she said she couldn't remember her son before this event happened. Almost the shock of it has made her forget the nice memories, the better memories, and that's such a how they're all part of she can recognise if someone's lost a child, because it's like sort of the same group, a club that no one wants to be. Yeah, it's a very expensive club to get into, and it's not one you really want to be in anyway. It's really sad. I mean, it was beautifully filmed as well, like the church scenes. There was like the sun rays coming through, and like the sort of filming for it was a lot softer for EastEnders as well, I noticed. The lighting was much pastel-y almost, wasn't it? And it was, as you say, a much more softer focus on the whole environment. I don't think they've really used the big church like that, other than I can think, was Abby's funeral done like that? No, it wasn't. It was just in like a normal... I mean, it was just seems like, I think obviously they'd spent a bit more money on filming it, because obviously the establishing shots and things were a lot more cinematic, weren't they? Or wider screens. Well, they had more time as well, I think. I think they put more time into getting this right. Again, it's such an important issue. If they had rushed it, or also if they had made almost forgetful, made it almost just a storyline, we've done it, now we'll just forget about it, kind of. And they haven't. They've really researched it. They've put a lot of time into it, and it has to be congratulated that EastEnders, when they do something well, they really do pull their socks up and get it right. I mean, on Twitter this evening, because obviously we recorded it straight after the episode aired in the UK. Ireland again got it an hour earlier. I know, because we saw online like people were saying, "Oh, this was a really good episode," and it was like 20 minutes ago. It's like, what? We've missed it. But no. RT Ireland, got it easy. Yeah, Ireland saw it first. And a gentleman who's tweeted at Mr. DC Phillips said that if they held up the same production values and maybe reduced the number of episodes to 2 a week, and fill that hour with amazing writing, acting and directing, filming like tonight's episode, then it'd be much more powerful messages in episodes be portrayed. And he's got a point. I mean, that half an hour is something that in any other week of EastEnders would have been stretched right out like putty for an hour and a half, and it didn't need to be. That's why I say it was just so consolidated and done so well. It just... Yeah, but we say that quite often. We say quite often, like, EastEnders can't be running at 100% all the time. It's just, even if it was 2 episodes a week, I mean, look at Holby or Casualty, that's once a week, and that's because there's no gap throughout the year, it still doesn't guarantee that quality. I mean, they've, like with the episode where Lauren left, that was another sort of at its height of, that was real great storytelling, and when the Slaters came back. So you can't always be running at 100% on EastEnders. No, you can't. You just got to remember that when they do these important things, that it's done well. It's done well, but they've done this well, and it's the consideration that's the main thing. They've done it with heart and not sensationalism. And like I say, that's what EastEnders was always known for. It was meant to be. It was always the more real, a bit gritty soap. Not it's never really known for its humour or being or taking anything lightly, and they've done that this time. They've not done this subject lightly, and really all week you could argue it's been nicely burnt into this episode. It's been a good week. Yeah, it's not. I mean, when there's music over, the music was playing over the scenes. That's when it's heightened up at its putting at the heartstrings. And also if it's an actual recording made for that episode, so it's not just a copied track that they've just got off the the playlist. They've actually had that recorded by a choir. I thought that was really sweet when they came out and the music was playing and all the mums and dads were there. And it was just that basically tore me. And then you saw the coffin being lowered onto the camera. But yeah, I noticed that there wasn't one photo of Shakil. Do you think that was on purpose to not sort of
take away from the real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
like even at the funeral anyway, you didn't see a photo of Shakil.
No, yeah.
But yeah,
no,
that's what I thought. It was obviously like that.
that would have.
deliberate,
Yeah, I think that
sort
would
of blurring the lines a bit, isn't it?
exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have been. It would have been too much of dramatization.
Yeah. They were giving the real life cases the dedication they deserved, I guess, weren't they?
Yeah, that's why I say the story on this episode was almost the storyline was secondary to. It was just a way of bumping up these real life stories that were being presented in front of us for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing but praise on Twitter.
Yeah,
So it's trending worldwide.
Ooh.
So it's got people's attention.
UK and Ireland.
Yeah. Louise has said tonight's EastEnders was perfect. Such a real situation handled perfectly. It was incredible, emotional episode, and everyone involved deserves huge commiseration. Well done. I haven't watched EastEnders in years, but tonight's episode had me in tears. Brilliant episode to everyone involved. Really putting into perspective the issues that we have in London right now. It all needs to stop. So yeah, I mean, there's just loads of it's something that everyone wants, isn't it? No one wants this to carry on rising.
Oh no, it's an awful crime that seems to have just taken over the city of London, isn't it? Is it exclusive to London, or is it something that's happening in a lot of the cities?
I think it's just city culture, isn't it? But I think most of the reports are coming from London.
But we don't want to get too political.
No.
We
don't. I mean, yeah, it's just ending on a sad note of the week of EastEnders. But
obviously this week, there's been 2 episodes where there's not been a Duff at the end of it either. There was no Duff at the end of Thursday's episode when Carmel was her arms stretched and touching the coffin, which Shakil was going to be buried in, and obviously the end of tonight's episode ended with
more voiceovers and lines.
It's interesting. I spoke to Andy on Twitter and asked him, because he's I don't know if any of you guys follow him, but do follow him on Twitter. He's watched every single episode of EastEnders and categorized them.
He's made a amazing chart of every single storyline.
It's the perfect chart, and because he's obviously catalogued every single episode of EastEnders after having watched them all, we asked him whether he can recall if any other episodes have ended without a Duff. And he's at Andy McLellan. McLellan. He's put most famously when Den was shot at the canal, but that wasn't the first. There was one in 1985 when Michelle tells Lou Bill that she's pregnant. So we'll put on the show notes the guy's Twitter so you can have a look at his
chart.
His
5
chart.
years in the making.
It's fantastic. It really is amazing, and you can look back on. But that's interesting also that they feel that this story has so much importance and gravitas that they don't want to almost again not cheapen it by putting the iconic Duff.
Yeah, because even the end credits of this week, it wasn't the name of the actors or the assistants or writers. It was just the names of
the families.
The families. So yeah, very well done, EastEnders.
Yes,
we
good
applaud you.
Yes.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
So, that was our sort of initial thoughts on it, but
past Alex sounded a bit tired.
It was quite late. But yeah, I mean, it was just a great episode, wasn't it? A one-off.
It really was. I mean, a few people had said, this is just a lecture note between when we recorded that and now, and that the doing it as almost like it was a documentary kind of detracted and made it less about the story of the plot of the EastEnders played by the actors. A few people have been
saying that, haven't they? Like a few reviews and things. Yeah,
I mean, I personally don't agree with it. I think it was done right. I think that was the right way of it portrayed. As we said in the as past us said yesterday, it was done almost it was linked in by the fact that Carmel, it looked like she was coming out of a counselling session. And so I think it was linked in very well. And the part at the end when they're walking through the graveyard was just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember, if they didn't do it this way, would everyone be talking about it as much as they are?
Exactly.
So it's done its job of raising that awareness.
That was exactly what it was. It was not, and I think the BBC were right to do it that way. It wasn't about the soap. It was about raising awareness of knife crime that's been happening in the UK.
And online on the iPlayer, they've made an actual a 30-second documentary of the full interviews of all those people talking and things.
Yeah, so if you
So,
live in the UK, and even if you don't, you might be able to find a way of getting it. There's a
it's worth a
documentary
watch.
on BBC Three. We'll put the information, and we might put a link as well in the show notes. So if you want to watch it, you can always follow the link on the BBC Three iPlayer website. And also, I think we're going to put the link of the charity, the Ben Kinsella
Yes,
charity as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to donate any money toward knife crime awareness, then honestly, it's a lovely cause.
It was very well done, and yes, we applaud them.
Yes.
But so let's go on to a lighter note now. We're going to play a game to lighten the mood for everyone before we go out. Okay?
Yay! So, after a couple of weeks when we've played a few experimental games, we're going to go to an old faithful.
Yes.
Now, it's Martin Fowler's 5 a day.
Hey.
We all love this one. So, I will ask you a question. You must list 5 answers that relate to that question. You must wait until after every answer to discover if you are right or wrong, and you only have 30 seconds to give me all 5 answers. Okay, so this week, many actors and actresses have left the safety of Wolford to try their hands at the art of dance. Strictly Come Dancing, to be precise, but how many have left their troubles behind on a Saturday night to shake their derriere like they just don't care?
Lots.
There have been a lot. So basically, in 30 seconds, can you name 5 actors or actresses who have appeared in Strictly Come Dancing from 2004 to 2017? Now, I will accept character names. So if you can't think of what the actor or actress's name is, I will accept the character name.
Okay.
And although there have been a few rumours out of what's happening this year on Strictly, we won't accept any of those as an answer.
Obviously.
But I know, but just in case you thought...
Only 5?
Yes, but you've got a lot to choose from.
Yeah, I know. It should have been 10.
Do you want to do 10?
No.
No. Okay, wonderful. So, if you're ready then, you have 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to let me tell you if you're right or wrong. They just spill them out.
Okay.
And your time begins now.
This is so easy.
Go on.
Jake Wood.
Jake Wood, yes, he came 4th. Max Branning.
Yes. Letitia Dean.
Letitia Dean did. She... Oh, well, I'll give you the answer again later. Yep, Letitia Dean.
Davood.
Davood, last year, yep, came 4th. Letitia Dean came 4th as well, just in case you want.
All 4th. Kim.
Kim, yes,
Kim Fox.
yes. She came 12th. 5 seconds.
Oh,
Quick.
Oh my god, no.
Oh,
I had so many in my...
up.
How has that happened? I had loads in my head then.
Because you were being cocky.
I know. I wasted 10 seconds.
Come on, give us the ones the other ones you knew. You said them earlier.
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me now. Jack, he's been in it.
Yep, Scott Maslin, he came 4th.
Oh, 4th again?
Yeah, he came the same as his
Kim's
TV
not
brother.
Very good, did she?
Kim,
she was out second
wasn't
week.
the worst.
Oh, really?
Let's just say yes.
Oh,
Do
who
you
else?
want me to go through them?
Yeah.
It's Christopher Parker, who played Spencer Moon. He came 2nd.
Who did it? Spencer?
He was in the very first series.
Oh, right, okay. Jill Halfpenny. She won it.
She won it in the second series.
Sake.
Patsy Palmer, who plays Bianca Jackson.
She did, did she?
Yeah,
I
she
didn't
came
know she
5th.
did.
Louisa Layton, who played Ruby Allen. Do you remember Ruby?
Yes.
The daughter of the gangster.
She was in the bill as well.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. 4th, she came in this.
Again,
Letitia Dean was
4th.
4th. Matt D'Angelo plays Dino Wicks.
Of course. Dean Wicks did it.
He was 2nd. He was runner-up. Phil Daniels, who played Kevin Wicks, Shirley's
don't know him.
ex-husband. He was out in week 1. Gillian Tailforth.
Oh, Linda's done it as well. Linda Carter.
Yeah, Gillian Tailforth, who plays Kathy Mitchell, she came 15th. And Jessie Wallace, who plays Cat Moon, was 13th.
Kat's done it.
Yeah, and all 3 of those, this must have been a bad year for booking, because all 3 of those are in the one series. So they got 3 people from EastEnders in one series.
Well, Kathy wasn't technically in it.
Oh no, I suppose she wasn't at that point. Jessie Wallace plays Cat Moon, came 13th. Zoe Lucker, who played Vanessa Gold, came 10th.
Oh yeah, I don't count her as an EastEnders. I don't know why, because I never watched her in EastEnders. She's Footballers' Wives.
Yeah. Ricky Groves, who plays Gary Hobbs, was 6th. I'm doing this now. Natalie Cassidy, Sonia was 5th. Jimmy Mystery, who was Fred Fonesca, came 10th. He wasn't in it for very long. Scott Marsden, Cara Toynton, who won it, who played Dawn Swan.
Dawn.
Anita Dobson, who played Angie Watts, she was 7th. Sid Owen, who plays Ricky Butcher, was 11th. Jake Wood was 4th. Kelly Bright, who plays Linda Carter, was 2nd.
Yeah.
Tamika Empson, who plays Kim Fox Hubbard, was 12th. And Davood, who was 4th. There you go. So there was a lot to pick from.
I know.
If Panic
they all come to mind.
if Panic hadn't settled in, you would have known it.
Well.
And that was Martin Fowler's 5 a Day.
I feel ashamed.
You shouldn't feel ashamed. You knew the answers. The answers were there.
I was going to go for 10 and then I couldn't even get 4.
Fair enough. You gave it a good go.
So there we are. So just 2 little, not even really storylines, but like obviously hinting at storylines to come.
Yes. Well, one's not even hinting at storyline. One was just mentioning that Tina wasn't going to be coming back for another couple of weeks.
No.
She's staying away with Zaza. It was explained away by Kathy talking to, we don't know her name.
I know. She has got a name. I just can't remember it.
The cafe worker.
The other woman.
The other one. She's always buttering bread.
Yeah.
Anyway, she had 2 lines this week, and one of them was, "That will be great," when Kathy offered her extra hours at the cafe. So there you go. She obviously loves her job. Phil and Sharon had a couple of scenes this week as well. Sharon basically feels a bit unloved and unwanted, and it's not helped the fact that when she asks Phil for help to organise Dennis's birthday, he says that she's mothering him. And that and when she offers him sexy times in order for him to help her, he doesn't misinterpret it. He deliberately he'd rather though go and watch a boxing match.
Yeah.
And when Sharon confides with Linda, because now they're best friends again. Yeah. Mel's gone, so they're best friends again.
She even mentions Michelle as well, which was quite nice.
Which she says that she's thinking about having an affair with a 15-year-old, which is a hot topic
Keanu's,
at the moment.
Keanu's there waiting. So.
Yes, which is what we think might be happening. So we think that there might be a Sharon having an affair to make Phil jealous storyline. So watch this space. We shall see.
And it's Phil's birthday, which is always fun. Hopefully there'll be
No, Denny's birthday.
Oh, is it Denny's? Not
Yeah,
Phil's?
I don't think we're going to see it on screen though. Because he's having a bowling party.
Mitchell dinner party again.
But like the Easter dinner party. I do.
For a year.
I mean, I never knew that Sharon had such many skills. Like the things she can list that she can do.
Many skills, Sharon. So shall we go on to our poll of the week, which was quite a hit. Sleeper hit, wasn't it?
It was. Week? Well, yes, because we have been very keen to maybe get a little storyline for one of our favourite characters.
Yes, Shrimpy.
Because we love Shrimpy. And so we were asking this week what storyline Shrimpy should have. Now, I'll go through the original 4 choices and then we'll go through, because we also asked people to give some suggestions of their own.
Yes.
And some of them are fantastic. So the choices we offered was Who Shot Shrimpy? Shrimpy wins the lottery. Shrimpy's a secret Slater. Or Shrimpy passes his driving test. Now, thank you, Ben Champness, for reminding us that Shrimpy actually already has a driving license.
Ben Champness is who plays Shrimpy.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone knows
and
that.
he reminded us that he drove into a market stall.
Yes.
So we quickly wrote it off and said, yes, but then he lost his license. Ha ha ha. That's now going to be an option. So I'll just do it in order. Do you want to have a quick guess, or do you want to just hear what the results
I mean,
were?
I went for one of my personal votes for Who Shot Shrimpy.
I went for Who Shot Shrimpy.
Did you? Yeah.
Who Shot Shrimpy? Oh, I'm surprised
He's got so many women on the go. One of them might have done it.
That's
the woman
what
from
I
the
thought.
cafe.
Exactly.
He's got extra hours.
And the 2 then he took to Bill's opening soft launch. It writes itself. Anyway, last place was Shrimpy passes his driving test at 4%. Second place was Who Shot Shrimpy. Third place was Who Shot Shrimpy. I know, I was really surprised by that.
Because people don't want him to die. He's too low.
He doesn't have to die. He's just getting shot.
He wears a lead hat. And so the bullet gets ricocheted off his
like an army hat, like a what are they called? Home guard hat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that got 16%. Second was Shrimpy wins the lottery at 28%. An out and out winner. And I have to say, my second favourite, I would have definitely liked to see this storyline. Over 50%, 51% of you wanted Shrimpy to be revealed as a secret Slater. I mean, would he be on the nice Slaters?
You ain't a Slater.
You ain't a Slater.
Yes, I am. That's how it would go.
Would he be on the nice side of the Slaters, or would he be on the Hayley side of the Slaters? The not nice Slaters, as they
He'd be another one, like a third lot.
He'd be another Slater.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they're coming out left, right, and centre, aren't they? They're really just coming.
So, we have a few comments on there. You're going to go through them.
We did. So Mark Griffin at Mark Griffin 2 doesn't like Shrimpy very much from the impression I get.
Oh dear.
He'd started off by saying he'd like Shrimpy to get a kicking. We asked, genuinely, what's Shrimpy done to you? And he's basically quite upset by Shrimpy's hats. I mean, he must have been quite pleased when he saw Friday's episode because Shrimpy was...
I know, he didn't have a hat on
He
at the
was
funeral
without
for the
a
first
hat.
time ever.
So we got to see his hair.
Yeah, never happened.
I mean, I was a bit worried.
He didn't take his hat off for Abby's funeral.
Not even as the coffee
I don't
went
think
by.
so, no. But he did
Very
for
important.
Shakil, yeah. Very serious.
Goodness me. Martin Wood at MJWood55 said Shrimpy fights Robbie over Donna.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That one was a decent one. At AuntBabe_Vic said Aunt Babe finds out about his secret affair with the women on the market and the girl in the cafe, and they start blackmailing him. I mean, that again,
could happen.
And that could then lead to who shot Shrimpy.
Yeah, Aunt Babe.
Yeah, you never know. At Fromiston, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, says Shrimpy finally discovers jelly eels and changes his name to Ilzy. I thought that was quite clever.
And random.
But it was decent enough. I mean, we also asked for another one. At No Den Susan says Shrimpy and Masood to set up a mobile business together. Now, what would they sell?
Maybe they'd sell like samosas, but they'd be wrapped. Or like their bowls would be hats.
What, like hats?
So they serve them in hats. Like
right.
samosas in hats.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or they could make samosas into the shape of
hats.
hats. And you wear them and eat them at the same time.
That's what I'd want.
Yeah.
Although the grease would go down your head. It would not be very comfortable, especially in the weather we've had recently. And one last one from Karen English. I won't read your Twitter handle because it's too difficult. Says Shrimpy needs more screen time. He should be promoted to become the market inspector. Now, I don't know what Mr. Lister would say about that. I mean, he's only
Take
just...
Robbie's old job.
What, as a market inspector? Oh, yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, from Tamwa.
But he was the vice one, wasn't he? Like, Mr. Lister is the head honcho. So there you go. So thank you so much for your interaction for that one. It was fantastic.
Didn't know Shrimpy was so loved.
I know.
We thought we were the only ones.
Shrimpy,
he's got many fans,
adoring fans. We all love Shrimpy, and he's a lovable guy. So it's something that makes perfect sense. I mean, we always do a poll of the week, and we post it after Monday's episode of EastEnders. So if you're watching EastEnders, check out your Twitter. You can also check out your Twitter whilst you're watching EastEnders, because we also post live tweets while it's being broadcast in the UK. Follow us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. You can follow us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly. You can go to Facebook page or Facebook group just by finding us by searching EastEnders Weekly. Don't forget to like. And you can also email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. And also don't forget to subscribe on all the sources, because then you can make sure that you always get the next episode of EastEnders Weekly in your inbox.
Yeah, you wake up and it's there.
Yeah, have a quick stretch on a Sunday morning. Have some toast.
And you're missing the omnibus, so
this is it, your audio omnibus. So there you go. And we always enjoy your comments and your interaction. So please keep sending them to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So better do some cleaning up before we finish the show. Let's have a look here. Oh. What's it? Oh, it's £20. What should we do with this?
I've got an idea. I'm popping over to cafes.